This is The Gorge. It's a podcast where my friends and I get together and we gorge ourselves on what's happening in the world of video games and entertainment.
Spoilers, it's all bad news. The Gorge is brought to you by Patreon. That's patreon.com/thegorge, where for just $5 a month you gain access to not one, but two entire podcasts. $5 gets you Takeout, a monthly commentary track where we all decide we don't feel like playing something, so we watch something and talk over it instead. We just watched the 1990 TMNT movie. It was really good. And $2 is the grab bag tier. It's everything else. We played Chain Together, a $5 game that probably came the closest to killing all of us.
To breaking us spiritually.
To breaking our spirits, to making me abandon the art of video games forever.
If we had committed to a longer form stream of that and not the relatively short group look we did, I think it would have destroyed the podcast.
It would have. The plan, let me put it this way. The plan was to play for an hour. We got 45 minutes in. I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. I hate it. So yeah, highly recommend. That's only $2. And $2 will also get you the entire back catalog of everything else we've made, excluding Takeout, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, however much you want to kick in, we appreciate it. $2, $5, $10. $10 a month, by the way, gives you pictures of my dogs. That's patreon.com/thegorge. Thank you.
So, who wants to go first?
Have we done anything?
I'll go first. I haven't done shit.
It's been a
weird week.
We haven't recorded in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
In the immortal words of Drew Toothpaste, I don't do shit. That's my decision. Not doing shit is like my religion.
That's right.
I've played 76 primarily.
That's right.
I've watched more Star Trek.
Sure.
I finished the episode. What was the last one I watched? I think it was the one where a little kid decided he wanted to be just like Data.
Yeah, I know that one. That's a stupid one. It's good, but it's also kind of stupid.
It was not my favorite, that's for sure.
And famously, Star Trek has made some of the best TV on the TV ever. Also made some of the most irredeemable dog shit on television ever. It really goes both ways, right?
I did one notable thing. Actually, it's funny because that one episode, the two before it.
Oh, we can technically, we haven't recorded since the end of August, so technically we can talk about how we've spent, I think, the last month.
Yes,
that's true.
It's been playing 76.
Yeah,
but
unfortunately,
the last 3 episodes I watched were that one with the kid with Data, the one where Alexander comes back.
Okay.
And Worf is a bad dad.
And then Worf immediately pawns him off on his parents because he's like, I don't want to be a dad.
This is the one where his mom shows up and she's like, you need to take care of your son.
Oh, okay.
Here's your kid back. He's not working anymore. It's your problem.
Yeah, you have to fix your kid, Worf. You're like the worst dad ever.
And then the one before that was the one with the time traveler who claimed to be from the future. And was there to watch them save a planet from seismic activity or something.
Oh God, I don't remember that one.
Wasn't that one the thing that's like he was pretending to be from the future, but he was actually from the past or something like that?
It was the one where he pretended to be a scientist who was like documenting the events of this day for the Enterprise. Like, this is a historic day in the future, and I'm here to catalog it. And then it ends with the reveal that he is actually a thief from the past. A time traveler visited him, and he knocked the guy out and stole his time machine.
Great.
And wanted to steal stuff from the future to bring back to the past to claim he invented it.
So, one of the best additions in Deep Space Nine to like Star Trek lore is that the Federation have time cops, right? Mm-hmm. And the time cops are just like, we realized that something wacky with time travel happened with a Federation officer. The men in black suits, are here to grill you about what happened and why.
That's so funny.
It's so funny. I won't tell you the context of it, but it's like, It's a 2-parter that is a Deep Space Nine all-timer, is all I'll say.
Is that the Bell Riots one?
It's the Bell Riots episode.
Okay,
absolutely.
I think I like ended right before the Bell Riots episode.
Okay,
like,
the Bell Riots episode is a fucking it's an all-timer. It's so good. Just because it's like, in 2024, the United States homeless population will finally riot, and it will eventually lead to our luxury automated space communist future. And it's like,
we still got a couple
3 months.
Clock's ticking, guys. Come on.
What? It's been a while since I talked about Star Trek. So
I know.
The game.
The game?
The one where Riker brings the VR headset onto the Enterprise and it brainwashes everyone.
Yes. Oh,
except for Wesley and his like little girlfriend.
Yeah, extremely dumb episodes. There's a lot of
Very
really
stupid gay episodes.
Very, very stupid episodes of Deep Space Nine. It's one of the best TV shows ever made, but also deeply stupid.
It's very funny that this episode, this and the time traveler theme episode, sandwiched between those two are the ones with Spock.
Oh yeah,
trying to bring peace to trying to unite the Romulans and the Vulcans. Finally,
yes. Oh, that's right. They had to get him involved a little bit more. Right. Oh man,
is that the one where you meet his dad? I forget.
We met his dad before, but his dad dies in this one.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's right.
It's just where we get to meet Spock.
Yeah, Spock is here. We got Leonard Nimoy back on our show.
We got Leonard Nimoy back. We gotta. If there's an original series actor willing to be in Star Trek
not dead,
we are going to utilize them.
I think a lot about that time that they put William Shatner on one of those low orbit planes, and like he immediately came back with it. Like, guys, we actually need to take better care of Earth. It's like horrifying up there, and I wouldn't wish it on any of us. Space is actually terrifying. You shouldn't want to live there.
It's amazing. It's so funny. He had the best reaction to it ever. It's great. But
Perfect.
He's right.
Yeah,
You're never gonna live in space. I have a T-shirt that says that.
I wish I could find the blog post. I can never find it, but there's a great blog I read by someone once called "There is no future for humanity in outer space" or whatever.
That's correct.
And it's like, it's a correct takeaway. We have we have to fix shit here. We don't have an option.
What's the your friend Rory, right? They were selling that one shirt that says "I'm never gonna live in outer space," and I bought it instantly.
Oh yeah, good. Yeah. I don't think I ended up grabbing that one.
I had to. It's so good. It literally says, "I'm never gonna live in space. I was born here. I will die here."
Exactly.
It owns. It's such a good one.
That shirt whips ass.
Yeah, it kicks ass. I wear it all the time. People always double take at me. It's really good. Yeah. So, I haven't even watched that much DS9, mostly because, like, now that Oates and I are, like, caught up, we tend to watch it just together.
Right.
We haven't had a chance lately. Mm-hmm. So, I thought I was free from Fallout 76. I was not. I was a fool. Then the new season came out, and I was like, fuck! So, I'm back in.
I'm back in.
I'm a fool. I'm a rube.
Yeah, so I haven't done much besides that. I did a little bit more Unicorn Overlord. The one thing I did want to talk about...
Sure.
...is Ultimates Issue 4.
Yes! Tell me more about the Ultimates, because I am going to pick it up. I heard it's really good.
So Sarah, the one thing is the entire Ultimate line is brilliant. Yes. All 4 series are incredible. You would really like Ultimate X-Men, because like I said, it's a horror manga.
Right.
But Ultimate Spider-Man and Ultimates are just really, really rock solid superhero comics.
Sure.
And Ultimates 4 is one of those issues that people are just going to be talking about.
Right.
Like, this is why the medium of comic books was invented. Was so Ultimates 4 could eventually exist.
Okay.
It's so fucking good.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to spoil too much, but like the overall premise, the concept behind it is that it is 4 storylines happening simultaneously. Okay. Each page is 4 panels lined up vertically.
Okay.
So it's just like 4 like thin strip panels, and those 4 panels are telling different stories simultaneously.
Oh, that's
like at different
so
points
fun.
in time.
That's insane.
Yes,
I love
that's
that.
so fun.
It's really, really fucking good, and it's all about 6160, the new Ultimate Reed Richards, and his history, and how he became Doom.
That's right, because Reed is Doom in this timeline.
Yeah. It's so fucking, oh my god, like,
Yeah.
oh.
I gotta go up to my comic shop. Like, the comic shop that I live near is, like, run by, like, a real creepo, but, like, I gotta go up there and buy it anyways, because, like, I want to read it.
I mean, what I do is, I mean, I have the Kindle app on my phone, and Amazon just sells the issues.
Oh, do they now? Fuck,
yeah.
That's so much smarter. See,
yeah.
That's what
on one hand, there is no circumstance in which I would ever go give Amazon money, but on the other hand, you gotta avoid the creepos. It's the only way.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, your options are, it's like, give Amazon money or support your local comic store. Asterisk. The guy who runs the comic store is kind of a creep. You know? It's like, damn it.
Or in my case, it's support your local comic store. Asterisk, 50 miles away.
Yeah.
I have no idea. How far? I don't think I've...
Do I even have an alternative?
I've been to a comic store in here, but I cannot, for the life of me, think of one I've been to that's actually even in my city.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I do have one other. Actually, I have two options. One is just like a normal toy and comic store, but there is another one that is a comic book store and a tattoo parlor.
Ooh, that's a good combo.
I need to go there. So maybe I'll
there's some comic stores in my area. Funnily, when I look up comic stores in my area, the first thing that comes up is Anime Fix, which sells anime collectibles, and I should note, no comics or manga whatsoever.
Well, they've kind of become synonymous.
Yeah.
Funnily though, despite Anime Fix being Anime Fix, if I want to buy manga, the best place for me to go is the Barnes and Noble, which has
that's always the case.
Which I did not expect this, because it wasn't like this when I was like at the age where I would go to like a Borders or Barnes and Noble and just shop around. The anime and manga section is like a solid quarter of the floor plan of the local Barnes and Noble.
Yes, it's insane how much that like the manga section has taken over like Barnes and Noble because of like how lucrative it is. Shockingly, the model that works really well in Japan also works really well here. It's like, oh, you get a little cheapo comic for, I guess, I don't know how much a manga tango costs.
They're still pretty cheap. They're like, I mean, it depends on what you're getting and like the size of it or whatever. But it's like the most expensive ones are like $15 a volume.
They're like you can still get some for $10 then.
Yeah, they're still like $10 or $11 is a really normal price for like a single volume of manga.
Because they were $10 when I was a teenager, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. It turns out that's a great way to sell comic books. And also to make a huge return on your investment. Because
I'm sitting here like I've got the entire run of Dungeon Meshi, I've got the entire run of Dead Demons, like all of Chainsaw Man so far. It's like, because I buy those because it's a great value, and then it makes me spend a lot of money on those overall. Like I've got a couple $100 of fucking manga on my bookshelf right now.
It's so crazy. I didn't know that they were still that cheap. I should buy more manga. Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Once I can get like a proper bookshelf, I'm gonna get more stuff.
Well, nice part too is that there's things like for the ones that have complete runs, like you can get them in with like just in a complete box set or whatever, with like a little protective sleeve for like usually a little bit cheaper, like total. And it's like, oh yeah, hell yeah, dude, I'll get all of Chainsaw Man Part 1 for like $100. That's a great price for that. That's $1 per chapter. American Comics wishes.
Tell me about it. I mean, granted, I'm part of the problem. I'm over here buying individual digital issues and then getting the volumes like pre-ordered for when they release, like physical.
How much is an individual volume of Ultimates, Benjamin?
An individual issue of Ultimates. Let me just pull this up right here.
While Ben's pulling it up, I feel like the incidence of us referring to Ben as Benjamin has only increased as we've been watching Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, it's true.
$5.
Okay, well, cheaper than I was expecting, but still pretty pricey.
$5 a month, basically.
It's not that bad. Okay,
it could be worse.
But here's the thing, and I don't know if the price has changed on this. I don't think it has. It's about $3 a month for a subscription to Shonen Jump.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And you get all of it.
And you get everything that comes out. And like for what it's worth, a lot of their Shonen Jump stuff is like No, like, everyone can just read it for free when it comes out. The thing you're actually paying for is archival access for things that are older than, like, a month. But the thing is, like, the limits on that is you can only read 100 chapters a day.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
So if you want to read all of One Piece, you do have to make it, like, a week and a half project.
Yeah.
God forbid.
Now, I guess, Sarah, you could, in that vein, sign up for the Marvel Unlimited app. Which is kind of like their version of Shonen Jump. Sure. But I think there's like a release delay.
Of course there is.
And that's why, like,
this is why manga is, like, absolutely eating American comics lunch.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm not gonna pretend like manga is like a fucking industry doesn't have its problems with the way they, like, grind illustrators into mulch, but also, like, the marketing and publishing structure for that enables them to, like, pay people to make things at all. Yeah, and not just, like, run a loss lead off of the fact that the movies are profitable, so you may as well sustain the original business model too.
Right, because, like, manga is cheap to print. Like, even Tenkos are, like, super, super cheap to print because they're just, like, they're black and white printed on you know, pretty standard paper.
Like, really thin, low-quality paper, but, like, good enough to stay in a binding, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, the fucking Shonen Jump, like, what you buy in Jump at, like, a Japanese bookstore is, like, even cheaper than that, right? Like, it's crazy. Yeah, no. And I mean, like, yeah, $5 an issue or paying for the Marvel app, like, that's not as bad as I was expecting because I'm expecting, like, premium depravity, right? When it comes to Disney and Marvel. But I mean, yeah, $3 a month for all of Viz. It's just, I mean, God, there's no wonder, right? That, like, manga just keeps fucking demolishing everything.
My suggestion for all the Marvel bigwigs who are listening to this podcast, because I know they are. It's like, obviously, you don't want to copy the Viz model directly because, like, doing the manga style, the thing that you do is, like, the tragic cost of that is that you can't get color printing, and you have lots of colorists who you hire to do that work. My suggestion is that you have them all published in black and white for the normal releases, and then when you do the tankobons, you just hire a colorist for those and have it do the whole thing.
That's an extremely good idea. That would be good,
yeah.
Because then you can charge premium for those because they're on higher quality paper and they have all color and everything, whereas you can go super cheap for your ongoing releases.
That's a great idea. It's genius.
Brilliant.
They should do it.
I agree. I definitely know that Bob Iger, CEO of the Disney Corporation, is listening right now.
Yeah.
Donate to our Patreon, Bob.
I know he's listening right now, which is why I've refrained from making actionable threats.
Right. The other thing is, Sarah, like, if you really want to, I know a guy who can,
I mean, that's the other thing is you can just also
he lives on a big back of a truck. He lives in a big wood boat in the middle of in international waters. It turns out.
Listen, if there was some kind of site that out there where perhaps, like, online you could read comics, you know,
suspicious.
Anyway,
if there was some sort of manga dex, perhaps
some sort of index for manga. That you read online. You know what? Don't worry about it.
The reason, by the way, that I have started buying more copies of more comics in general, like, besides just, like, you know, like, buying digital and then buying the volumes, is, for one thing, the Ultimates line is that fucking good that I'm like, no, I need this right now.
Yeah, you need it to, like, exist. Yeah,
I don't even want to wait the couple hours it takes for someone to scan the comic and put it on a site.
Sure.
Like, I need it in my hands that morning. The other is that it's the only way I can actively protest not buying Amazing Spider-Man anymore. By buying comics around it.
Yeah.
Is the only way I can sink its sales even further.
So true, bestie.
USM is still really fucking good. I'm so happy Ultimate Spider-Man exists. I'm so happy the Ultimates exist.
There's a good Spider-Man to read instead of a bad Spider-Man. Yeah.
Issue 4 is so. I have not stopped thinking about Ultimates 4.
Sure.
The cover of it with the Doom mask and 4 lab rats with the Fantastic Four's powers.
Okay.
so good. Oh my god.
I might actually have to read Ultimates because everything I've heard about it is good. I might make a day for it because there's not a lot to read right now, which is like the great time to hop in, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah. The best thing about the Ultimates line is that it's so cut off from everything else. Mm-hmm. There are only 4 series that are going, and they don't interact.
Right. Okay.
Like they are. Sure. They are. 2 of them are in completely different countries.
What? So it's
Ultimates.
It's X-Men, Spider-Man,
Ultimates, and Black Panther.
Okay, cool.
And Black Panther is good, don't get me wrong, it's very good, but I can't really, I've never been a Black Panther or Moon Knight guy, right. So I can't tell if they're doing like really outlandish, like crazy things that are completely subversive to what you would expect from Black Panther and Moon Knight.
Sure.
Or if it's just Black Panther and Moon Knight.
Yeah, or if it's just a really good Black Panther and Moon Knight series,
right?
Which it is, but it's like I'm like it's good, it's good. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like
don't know if they're doing anything groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's not like X-Men where it's like it's a fucking horror manga,
right? Yeah, exactly.
In Japan with like none of the standard X-Men characters, or like the Ultimates where hey, Reed Richards is Dr. Doom in this comic,
right? Yeah, exactly. We're doing something super different, right?
Yeah. Yeah, please. I would love it if you would read that so that I can have someone else to talk to about that.
You can like actually talk about it. Yeah. Okay, that's a good reason.
Yeah. But that's it. Literally everything else is Fallout 76 because I'm just fucking addicted to it again.
I am addicted to it. It's like a really good holding pattern game right now.
Mm-hmm.
I can buy I can build shacks and spend money on things I don't need. What do you want from me?
Yeah. We did stream FF9, which is good. Oates is not here to discuss it, but I like that. We're going to continue that. And then when we're done with FF9, we'll get back to Ace Attorney Investigations.
Yes.
Yeah,
and then,
that VOD sadly for FF9 is not available due to technical difficulties. Yeah. But they are going to be available for future ones. If you missed the beginning of FF9, you'll just have to imagine us making all sorts of insanely funny jokes.
Yes.
Yeah. Imagine us the funniest we've ever been, and now put it on top of Final Fantasy IX. You're welcome. Yeah. That's what it was like. Yeah. Oh, and then we also have been playing. Another reason to join our Discord is because we've been playing Riven as a group. A bunch of morons all playing the Riven remake together.
Yeah,
Riven is good. I actually I'm enjoying Riven a lot, actually.
Yeah, that one wasn't streamed publicly anywhere, so you didn't miss it. If you're listening to this podcast and wondering what the hell, it was streamed privately on the Discord.
Right, that's just
and we do stream things privately on the Discord sometimes. So if that sounds fun to you, get in there.
Yeah,
I'm not going to. I'm done asking nicely.
I am no longer asking. I am demanding.
The gun cocks.
That's right. Because we're gonna listen. It's fine. We'll talk about future plans at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
But October is gonna be fun. So
there's a lot we're gonna cram into the first 2 weeks of October.
Because the problem is that Ben's gonna be out of the country for the rest of October. So we have to. There's not gonna be a lot of episodes. So we have to do auxiliary stuff around it.
We're going to do a lot of streams because we won't have a lot of time to record podcast episodes.
Right. But yeah, that's it. Fallout 76 is eating my life. That game is just really fun to play. It's like, what if Fallout 4, but you can play with your friends and it's more functional?
Yeah.
Imagine that.
I played Fallout 76. I drew a little bit. I mourned the death of my favorite social media website, which is still alive currently, but within about 2 weeks, it will not be alive, which makes me very sad. Rest in peace, co-host.
We're saluting it as it goes down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard the whatever you call that little trumpet number you play.
saddest little taps.
Yeah. But really, aside from mourning the death of a good internet, and drawing some fan art for a different podcast stream, I've only been playing Fallout 76. I haven't been doing anything else interesting.
I think I'm out. Todd pulls me back in.
I did try to start for a month-long VN Jam project. I'm going to announce here, not that there's an announcement that needs to be made. I overcommitted. I think I bit off more than I could chew vis-a-vis what is possible for one person who has no idea what the fuck they're doing.
It's okay.
So I have resolved instead to try and develop those skills before they run that project again next year, so I can give it another shot.
There you go.
Excellent.
Okay.
Is that it for everyone?
I think that's it.
Okay, we can stop. We can stop now. Okay, we're done. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
No, sorry. Get back here. Okay. Get back here.
We have 2-3 weeks of shit ass news that we have to go over.
To quote one Hunter or Colonel Hunter Gathers, there is no good news, just bad news and weird news.
Well, I'll take the weird news.
Capcom just made its disastrous mobile Resident Evil games even worse.
There are mobile Resident Evil games?
They put RE4 Remake on phones, along with RE7 and RE8.
Right.
Why?
Yes, I remember hearing that, because one of the only things I heard about that game was them going, if you're getting an iPhone 15, it is just so that you can play this and for no other reason.
That's so stupid.
And it turns out those ports, by the way, really bad.
No,
Shocking.
a word? Shut up. Really?
Wait, really? And now they're requiring an internet connection to play.
For Resident Evil 4?
I don't know why.
What does that even accomplish?
Congratulations, you have found a way to completely remove any possible purchase use case for having a phone version of Resident Evil 4.
So stupid.
Which, why would you even in the first place?
Here's the exact, I'll give you the one. The iPhone 15 version of Resident Evil 4 probably runs better than Resident Evil 4 on a Steam Deck, and your bratty cousin in the backseat of the car on the road trip needs something to do.
Yeah.
Well, then he can play Peggle.
Yeah, he's gonna have to, because he can't fucking play RE4 without an internet connection.
You can't use all the data just to play RE4, Chad.
Poor kid being named Chad in the year of our Lord 2024.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that was just a taste test of the bad news, because Xbox boss Phil Spencer says he's made, quote, the worst game choice decisions, unquote, letting exclusive like Destiny slip through his fingers. Yeah, no shit, Phil.
Funny news. This one, I don't even know if this is bad news. I think this is just really funny news.
Yeah, Phil, we knew that.
I think it's very funny that Phil Spencer can do a press tour. He's like, yeah, I made really stupid decisions that I regret for the entirety of my 10-year run as head of Xbox, and get to keep his job after.
Yeah.
How many people have they fired this year so far?
Many.
I'm sure some of those firings will come up in the news. But I want to say Microsoft Gaming alone has fired like 2,200 people this year already.
Yes,
I'm going to look it up real quick.
Yes, they have, because they just announced another 650 people, I think, getting laid off from Xbox division. So, because the industry is a fucking tire fire right now.
It's in the comprehensive list of tech layout. It's over 10,000. Oh
yeah, for the year for like all gaming layoffs, we're at like 11 or 12,000 or something like that.
Fantastic.
But I think Microsoft alone is like over 2,000.
Yeah, I mean, I would not be surprised, because I mean,
yeah.
They promised you guys that the Activision Blizzard merger was not going to affect anybody's jobs.
Yeah.
Remember that?
They made a lot of promises that they have very violently not kept.
Yeah. Like, that they were going to put out video games.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the thing. I'm a doomer, and I don't think that whoever's going to win the presidency in 2024 is really going to materially affect the United States politics for the next 4 years.
Sure.
However, I would be okay with Kamala winning, if only because then we're going to get the future of, no, the FCC still has, like, fucking blue appointees in there, and they're going to take Microsoft to court over all the lying.
I hope
we can hope.
Like, it's just, it's really bleak. All of the lying, all of the everything that has been allowed to go down, and now, like, just to completely and totally gut, like, Microsoft as an entity. And it's like, how are you going to make video games? You guys are already not making any video games. How are you going to make the video games that you said you're making, right?
Well, Sarah.
Oh, boy.
Souls-like Enotria delayed indefinitely on Xbox because Microsoft, quote, decided to ignore devs.
This is like one of the funniest news articles out of this thing.
Okay. So like, it came out on everything else, right? Or is coming out on
it is announced
else?
For PlayStation and PC.
Okay.
I believe I believe it did just come out like very recently. I've seen people play.
Yeah.
I don't know if it actually.
No, it'll be released on the 19th, so it's out in 2 days.
Oh, okay. I saw some people streaming it, but I think they might be like, because they're like
maybe,
streamers, so they probably have pre-release copies.
But yeah, it is quite obviously missing the Xbox platform because Microsoft just did not communicate with them.
That's so, man, they don't even know how to get a W anymore. That's incredible. Like, they've completely forgotten how to even achieve a win.
We're going to see more of this happening.
How are you... I mean, I know how it happens. You laid off everybody. It's kind of like how it's like how advertising on Twitter is super fucked now because everybody who would handle it got fired. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. Like, yeah, I'm sure you're operating on a leaner operating cost, but like now literally every layer of your organization is just fucked beyond repair. There's nobody to communicate with devs anymore to like get their game on your stupid bad system. It's incredible.
Apparently, and I don't know. Yeah, there's no official release date for the Xbox version. The Xbox version, by the way, it was always going to be later. Like they announced, and this is actually funnier because it's playing off of old news. This game is launching on PS5 and PC September 19th. It's not launching on Xbox on the same day, but that was never going to be the case even before Microsoft fucked with them.
That's amazing.
Back in March, they were like, "Yeah, we're actually delaying the Xbox release because, in the words of the CEO, we want to make sure the game runs perfectly on 2 platforms instead of badly on 3."
Great.
Okay, that's a good slam on Microsoft. That's for sure.
That's amazing. It's just stunning. Like, incredible incompetence from, like, the top down. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I'm speechless.
Like I said, we're gonna see more of this happen. We're gonna see more games that are just going to bypass the Xbox, and they're not going to be claimed as Sony exclusives.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Continue.
They're just not going to hit the Xbox.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say a big part of this is because, like, obviously we see a lot of Japanese games doing this already, but, like, a big part of this is because one of the things people don't talk about that much is that, like, a lot of times Xbox has things like, you have to guarantee you're going to move at least this many units, or whatever. Or if you fail to, that there will be, like, financial penalties you're on the hook for.
Yeah.
Right.
The biggest one that I don't know if it's still happening, but it was happening for a while, which is you have to run on Series S.
That one's still, and it's only when Baldur's Gate 3, and it's literally, like, they only backpedaled on it for Baldur's Gate 3, because Baldur's Gate 3 is like, yeah, we don't know when we're coming to Xbox because we can't get feature parity on Series S, and that's when Phil Spencer was like, Series S parity was always a suggestion. Editor's note, this is a lie.
It was not. No, it was required for over, and I don't know if it's technically still required, but, like, it's I think it's one of those things where, like, you can argue it, but it's easier to just not release an Xbox.
Oh my god, absolutely. Especially because the fucking sell-through rate of that console is bad anyway.
Yeah.
Like, you
have no incentive.
That many sales, right?
Yeah, like, why would you spend all that time developing a version for a console that no one owns and that will penalize you if you don't meet certain sales targets, and also you have to develop for 2 consoles, not just one, and one of them is not significantly more powerful than the last gen consoles and will have problems as a result if you're making anything that's, like, at all technically demanding.
And also, like, the company itself is just unwilling to communicate with you.
Like, if you want to put out a lesser version of your game, you're better off trying to get it on the Switch than on an Xbox Series S.
Honestly, yes!
Microsoft is always just standing in the middle of the kitchen and then pissing itself for no reason, going, why did Sony do this to us?
Yeah.
And don't worry, Sony is also pissing their own pants super hard. Make no mistake about it.
But they're standing in the kitchen pissing their own pants and going, piss your own pants, loser.
But they're wearing dark pants when they do it.
Yeah.
Exactly. At least they're wearing a diaper. Fuck me. God almighty. This sucks. Well,
listen, we can't give Xbox too many L's.
Yes, we can.
We've got to distribute some of these L's.
Can we call them L box? I think that would be okay.
So let's talk about the biggest L this year, probably.
$799 US?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay.
An important update on Concord.
Oh, no, you're right. That was the biggest L.
Yeah, that's the one. Okay.
You forgot, because you forgot about Concord.
I forgot about Concord. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? Oh, right. Yeah, no, you're right. For sure. That's the biggest one of the year. Yeah.
2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks.
I think it was 10 days total, I want to say.
10 days total it was active. I don't think it ever got higher than 500 players.
No.
Estimated budget, if I recall, of $200 million.
8 years.
8 years in development.
You can tell that this is, their thing was, we're taking it down to, they were trying to do a multiverses, right? Thanks for playing our open beta. Surprise, it was an open beta the whole time. We're going to take it down and fix it. They're taking it down. They're also refunding people who bought the game, which means they're not bringing it back.
No, Concord is just straight up dead. Absolutely.
I think they have said it is actually being removed from people's PS5.
It
is?
Yes.
Like it's not even like a PT thing like with PS4, like where you can leave it installed, still have that data there. People were finding that it had been removing itself from their PS5.
Mm-hmm.
If you bought it digitally, it was removed from your PS5. But they're also offering refunds on Steam and Epic Games.
Mm-hmm.
And refunds at retailers.
Okay.
Only 69 people managed to get the platinum trophy before it went offline.
Nice. Also, we do have to salute those people. They're crazy for even doing it, but you know what? Sure.
The Plat Hounds, they are truly God's most beleaguered soldiers.
The devil works hard, but Plat Hounds work harder. Peanut!
The thing...
Peanut heard hound and got excited.
Yeah, the thing is... It was only going to end this way from the beginning, right?
No, absolutely. Like, there was...
But...
Yeah.
But I didn't expect it to be this quick. I felt like Concord was going to putter along for a couple months and somehow still be running by like this time next year before they finally just like shutter the doors, right?
Right.
But I was not expecting 2 days we're going to refund everyone who bought it.
No, I actually did expect it. I don't know if I expected what's the word? Like the refund thing?
Mm-hmm.
But I definitely expected it to die almost instantly because like when they announced it at like their Summer of Games thing, why am I echoing? I can like hear myself.
You sound fine sound fine to us.
Okay, that's fine. I can like vaguely hear my own voice. It's fine. But like when they announced it at their Summer of Games, State of Play, whatever the fuck you want to call it, like there was no excitement from anybody, right?
Yeah,
like,
no, it was
silence. There was like it wasn't even like finger quotes Sony ponies. Like they weren't even like this looks great. They just didn't talk about it because they're like they had other more exciting things to talk about instead.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just a nothing game. It felt like a fake video game, right? Like from the word go. So I was like, this game is going to crash and burn instantly. It's going to flop harder than you've ever even seen something flop before. Because it's so nothing. There's no niche for it. There's no aesthetic that could pull anybody in whatsoever. Mm-hmm. Everything that Concord does, something else is doing better, right?
Well, right. So that's part of what doomed Concord is that they started development in 2016 after Overwatch came out with the idea of we want to make Overwatch, and then they spent 8 years making an Overwatch clone, which is famously not a very difficult game to steal.
Yeah, it's. A lot of people already tried to steal Overwatch.
Some of them even successfully. I think that Paladin Smite game is still fucking beefing around. They got a whole licensed Gundam Overwatch ripoff for a couple years there.
The crazy thing is that they chose now to release Concord, which is a time where Overwatch 2 still has all of the players that were grandfathered in from Overwatch, right? Marvel Rivals came out, which is free. And the new Valve one just came out.
Yeah, they're fucked.
They had no chance.
Fucked. They had no chance. And those are all like things that people give a shit about. This is like nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
we've been in a deluge of hero shooters for years, right? we finally got 2 that were actually like good, and now you choose to release your one that costs $40.
I think it's very funny that Sony was developing however many live service games, and then they got, the Bungie people, because, Destiny's, despite being so beleaguered, was, for all instances, a success story in that space, right? So they had them come through, check everything, get a bunch of projects canceled that weren't going to be viable, nominally, like The Last of Us 2 multiplayer, and I think the Twisted Metal game that was canceled, among other things.
Unbelievable.
However, of the games that survived was Concord, which is helmed at the time. I don't know if it was still at time of being shuttered, but was founded and that project helmed by former Destiny developers.
Yeah, no wonder it got a fucking boost. But like, you can't get a fucking Twisted Metal game made. Again, a couple days after the Concord debacle, you had like a former Sony exec saying, well, we don't have any, Sony doesn't have any IPs to leverage. It's like, what are you talking about? You have more IPs to leverage than possibly anybody on the planet, including Nintendo, right?
I did get some additional context, because I saw that headline as well. I did find out, apparently, because I don't have the article handy, but apparently the Sony exec was specifically talking about, I think, streaming programs or whatever.
Sure.
And not, their game dev side.
But,
so, not as horribly ghoulish as has been reported, but still,
But still,
Because I think it was the thing being raised to them was about the success of the Fallout TV show and what they were doing, and they're like, yeah, we're doing that thing with Amazon, but we don't exactly have a whole lot of things that are appropriate for that style of media. But still though, Concord gets the pass.
Concord gets a pass, but you can't make a Twisted Metal game, a game that is an extremely easy W in 2024. People would love a Twisted Metal game. Are you kidding me?
It is their allergy to AA games or smaller scale games, because they would rather take 8 years to make a live service hero shooter that has all these grand scopes than make a $1.5 million Twisted Metal multiplayer game.
Right.
That you can pump that thing out in a year and a half.
And then just have it coast, have it come out for, cheap or free to play, and have it coast off the back of a handful of whales, right?
Yeah.
You want a live service game, then do a live service game.
Right off of whatever hype that Twisted Metal show gave you.
However little that was.
Yeah. And go coast on that. Get your money up for that.
Yeah, just make a fun, cheap-ish, cartoony, racing / car battling game.
God forbid a game only take a year or two to make.
Right. And then just put it out, advertise it. Make a new medieval game. Make a new Ape Escape game. I mean, my God, they have so many fucking things they could be making, and that Concord dev has made other stuff. They're a single player dev, right? Before Concord, let them make a game that they know how to make, and then just put out a shit ton of little projects and make money that way. I mean, my God, this is so unsustainable. It's so unsustainable.
And it's not even a thing where this is a bold idea, because Nintendo's doing it.
It works.
And Nintendo is making money hand over fist.
Yes, it's incredible.
They're going to be making money hand over fist off of me. That Zelda game's coming out in a week or whatever, and I'm going to be buying that at full price because that game looks fun and probably only cost them $5 or $10 million to make it.
Right.
Yeah.
And we saw Astrobot, right? Everybody loves that new Astrobot game. And the thing is, that game has it looks very pretty and it runs very smoothly, but it doesn't have big AAA graphics. Listen, people don't want to see individual eyelashes. Do you know what they want to see? 6 million little bibbly-bobbly things bouncing around. We want particle effects. Use your big, powerful PC, your big, powerful gaming engine to just put a bunch of particles on screen. It makes people happy. It makes me happy, you know?
Yeah,
Cool
I like-
simulation stuff. Like,
Yeah.
like, you know, if you got this hardware, have fun with it.
The fun thing about playing Ratchet and Clank is when you kill out a bunch of enemies and they explode into bolts, and there's just a zillion bolts on the screen.
And it's great.
In my mind, there has not been a PS5 game that has looked better than Ratchet and Clank
It's
Rift
true.
Apart, which is
right.
a launch title.
I said on Twitter, the only company that's doing anything that actually utilizes the PS5 correctly is Insomniac.
Yeah, because they go
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we got this crazy SSD and all this RAM and all this CPU power and whatever. I mean, yeah, well, we're going to put some cool graphics in the Spider-Man game, but we're going to take advantage of the PS5's architecture to do something that we will be a couple years out from being able to imitate on a big scale.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Concord's dead and it's never coming back.
Oh no, it's never
This
coming back.
is-
They're not reworking it. No, that game.
This is the
dead.
biggest L of 2024, easily. Like, it's a
Easily.
slam dunk.
All right, what else?
Visions of Mana Studio is shutting down just after releasing game.
God.
Oka Studio put out Visions of Mana and they got shut down like a week later, I think.
No, it was the day it
It
released.
was the day
The
it came
day!
Because
Pat was literally on Twitter like, why am I finding out in the middle of a stream for a game I have been paid to promo that the studio who is paying me to promo their game has been completely closed down?
it's amazing.
God.
Like, just stunning. Nobody is safe. Like, man, you don't even get a chance
You don't even...
for your
yeah,
game to
this-
sell.
You can't win. You can't win as a game dev
You
anymore
make a
because
bad
your game...
you get you make a bad game, you get shut down. You make a good game, you get shut down. You make a game that sells a lot, you get shut down. You make a game that
and this is
doesn't
like-
sell at all, you get shut down.
And this is like, here's the thing, this is like the second studio this has happened to this year in Japanese game dev.
Mhm.
And accordingly, in both cases, it was a Japanese game dev that was owned by a company that is not Japanese.
That's correct.
Because when it happened to Tango, they were owned by Microsoft, and Microsoft is very clearly upset that they can't do their insane labor practices to a Japanese company.
Mhm.
And for Oka, they were owned by, I think it was NetEase or
It's
Tencent,
Net-
one of those two.
It's that
And
easy.
yeah, so they're owned by NetEase, and part of that, so I was looking into some of like why this happened, right? And a big part of that is because after the insane success of the Sun Wukong game, which is like, you know, it sold a gorillion copies and gorilla because monkey. But that was a huge quadruple A success, and part of what is starting to happen is that NetEase and Tencent really want those big payouts. And Japanese developers tend to prefer smaller and more secure projects, which is why, you know, you get stuff like Visions of Mana, which is firmly like a single A or double A RPG and not like a insane quadruple A thing.
Mhm.
But because of this, those returns tend to be more modest, and as a result, NetEase is like, we don't want to do Japanese double A, we only want quadruple A.
Right.
Yeah.
And now perfectly good developers are suffering as a result.
Sure.
If
Like
we-
they made that they founded that studio, got it to make one game, and then immediately closed it. Like, it's insanity.
If we throw dynamite into the lake, we can get all the fish at once.
Yeah. Because, you know, every game's going to do as well as Black Myth Sun Wukong.
Exactly. We'll never run out of fish.
People have infinite money to buy video games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The COVID bump is still happening.
It's fine. We can just make money forever. Infinite growth is absolutely possible.
Yeah, don't worry about it. The good news is few and far between this week.
Okay.
Here's one of them. Croc Legend of the Gobos is finally getting remastered.
What?
What?
They're remastering Croc.
I don't know
Sure.
what Croc is, Ben.
It's Croc. It's Croc.
It's Croc.
That doesn't help.
It's
He's-
Croc.
Yeah, I'll show you a screenshot of Croc.
You've seen Croc before.
Actually, I would be surprised if Saturn has never seen a screenshot of Croc before.
I'm waiting with bated breath.
It's
I mean,
Croc.
just like
It's
just
a
like
PS1 action platformer that was supposed to be a Yoshi game, but then the company split ways with Nintendo and moved on to Sony.
Ben, I have never seen this before in my human lifetime.
It's
it's. I mean, it's just
I
like
have
it's
no
a little
idea what the
action
fuck you're talking
platformer.
It was never as popular as like Crash or Banjo-Kazooie. But
yeah, no
there.
shit. I have never heard of it.
But it was there, and they're gonna remaster it, and you know he's gonna get his chance to come back.
Great. I'm glad for the 8 people aged 35 to 45 who are thrilled about this news.
You know, it's Croc, a thing that everybody knows about.
Croc fucking shit.
Don't be mean to Croc. He's literally done nothing.
He's just a little sad baby.
I'll be less mean to him when he does something worth me knowing him.
That's right.
Tomorrow you're going to be like, hey, Saturn, remember Croc? And I'm going to go, who?
We talked about it last night. No, we didn't. You're lying to me.
Hey, at least I didn't talk about Arrow the Acrobat.
Who's?
Yeah, I got not a single neurons fire in there, buddy.
I don't even know that one, Ben.
Blinks the Time Sweeper.
All right,
I know that
Blinks.
one.
Yeah,
you have to get more obscure than Blinks the Time Sweeper.
Oh, you know Blinks, but you don't know Croc? Okay.
Yeah, because I know Blinks the Time Sweeper because he's swag as fuck and not whatever this bootleg Ninja Turtle looking thing is.
Ninja Turtle? What animal do you think Croc is?
You look at that shell belly and you tell me that's actually a crocodile.
That's what crocodiles have. He's wearing a backpack.
Oh god, okay. Oh god.
Okay, this one's actually cool. Linkin Park has a new singer and a new album on the way.
It's not that cool. She's a Scientologist.
Yeah, unfortunately, the new choice of singer is complicated by that singer's politics.
She's not that cool. Turns out she's I was like, oh, I guess she's okay. And then it was like, nope, she's a Scientologist, and she is one of the people who was like in support of Danny Masterson, that guy who's like a sex pest.
She did put out a statement that said that she denounces Danny Masterson.
Okay,
but
she is still a Scientologist, though.
You know, it's like,
Look, I'm gonna give that one a pass if it means I get a new Linkin Park album.
No,
all right.
That's a no for me, dog. I don't fuck with a rich people cult that took over an entire Florida town that I was like dangerously close to. No, thank you.
Yeah, I still live near to that dangerous Florida town. In fact, I drive through there pretty routinely.
I don't fuck with Clearwater. That's a deeply evil place. No, thank you. So sorry, lady. I mean, I'm sure she's fine, but it's not. It's okay news.
It's a mixed bag.
It's a mixed bag. It's like
It did get me to go back and listen to like a bunch of old Linkin Park albums.
That shit's so good. Oh, Chester.
Chester, oh man.
It's so good. Yeah, it rules.
I don't know, their new song was pretty fucking cool.
Yeah.
Next, celebrity number 6 explained how a 5-year-long Reddit mystery finally just got solved. We got one of them lost media types.
What is this?
Finally found something. So there is a fabric with some like a mural of like edits or like drawings of celebrity like photography, right?
Yeah. A
bunch of celebrities are on it here. I'll show you the picture of the fabric that it is. And one of the challenges was identifying who these people are, right?
Okay.
Like trying to find the photo that's associated with them, so we can like know who this actors are supposed to be.
Sure.
They were able to identify every one of them except for one, which is the one in this image. She's kind of the blue one that's like kind of dead center to the right. The light bluish one.
Okay, the girl who's like looking over her shoulder.
No, the one who's looking on the right, like looking directly at you.
Oh, okay, her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was eventually after 16 years of investigation.
I'm glad someone has been investigating this nonsense for 16 years of their human lifetime.
It was revealed to be a Spanish model named Leticia Sarda.
Okay.
I feel I have completely lost the plot already.
Sure. I think after a certain point, there's like a lot of stuff on the internet that finding the original image is cool. We talked before
like stock photos.
We've talked before about the source of the original textures in Resident Evil 4 or like Mario 64 or Ocarina of Time. Like, that's cool. I'm a big fan of finding out the source of like creepypasta images because like they were so like part of my like college years, right? Like late high school, early college years. So like Smile Dog and that kind of stuff.
Jeff the
I
Killer.
follow the guy who made Smile Dog on Twitter.
Oh, really?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, he's constantly like, yeah, it's weird being like an actual literary academic, and then people still email me sometimes like, are you the guy who made Smile Dog? Like, I didn't post that on 4chan expecting it would be haunting me for the rest of my human lifetime.
It's gonna haunt you forever.
Like a dog.
Smile Dog, much like Smile Dog itself, it's never gonna leave you alone. You know, like, I think that's great. I love that kind of stuff. But like, this is probably could have spent your time on something better.
It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, but who is it?
Does it matter?
It matters to someone.
It matters to someone. You know what?
Not me.
Fair. Not to me. That's fair.
I think I have already, in the intervening 45 seconds, forgotten the name of the person that was provided for me for this mysterious
Don't worry.
Monochrome picture of a lady, I think.
Listen, folks, I was desperate for anything that was like interesting this week. That wasn't just like
bad news.
Not just like black pill, not like
wasn't
horror.
just like, hey, more people lost their jobs today.
Great, that's so funny.
It's like, hey, a Reddit mystery got solved. Finally, it's something. Before we get to this next one, can you give me just 1 minute, talk amongst yourselves for a little bit? I need to be right back.
Okay.
Sure. Well, here we are talking amongst ourselves, waiting for Ben to return.
Golly. I feel so without guidance in this dark time. I was not prepared to know that I would have to fill time.
It is funny. We were talking about finding original models. I do think it's funny that they found that the model that Arcade was based off of, and it's just white woman, and it's just a Canadian white woman. I think that's
some
very
like
funny.
kind of normal looking Canadian white woman that Takeuchi thought was really hot.
Yeah, because she was like a model in Japan at around the time that Takeuchi, and he's talked about it before. He was like, I saw a very specific image of a model in a fashion magazine. It was like a a white lady with blonde hair and a very kind of mysterious smile, and like. She had short blonde hair, and she was like the inspiration for Arcade, and like for years and years, everyone was like, "Who was Takeuchi talking?" We're talking about solving mysteries, and how like Arcade from Tsukihime is based off of like a model photo that Takeuchi saw a billion years ago, right? Mm-hmm. And somebody actually found the model and the photo that it was based off of. And it's like, that's kind of cool. Because she's just some Canadian. She lived in Japan she was Canadian. She lived in Japan for a few years. She did some modeling. She just, was like on magazine covers and stuff. And she still models in Canada. And like, she's still she's got the short blonde hair still. I think that's really funny. She's still just like, oh, that's Arcade. Cool.
Yeah, there you go.
That's funny.
Sorry about that. I heard water hit my window and I was like, it's not raining. Oh shit, I left the sprinkler on.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
That's fair.
So here's the other major L.
Oh boy.
Everything we learned about the PS5 Pro.
Doesn't matter. Only thing you need to know is $700.
$780 if you own a single disc.
So almost $800. At this point, buy a PC.
Yeah, no, I mean, like,
if you're gonna spend almost $800, just buy a PC. Just buy a PC.
Here's the thing, and you may be saying at home, but Sarah, a good gaming PC that will actually perform like remotely comparable to a PS5 is going to be way more than $800. And I say to you, first, it's a PC that you can use to do whatever you want, and you don't have to pay Sony online rent. The second is that it is a lot easier to get like a 0% APR for 2 years credit card deal or whatever on buying a big computer then it would be for similarly for PlayStation, but it would be a purchase that has any value to you whatsoever from a utility angle.
Yeah, it can do. You spend $800 on a computer and get a pretty decent. No, you're not going to get a PS5 Pro, but you're going to be able to play basically everything. It's fine. For one, most importantly, you're going to spend $800 on a PS5 Pro. What are you going to play on it?
Yeah, there's
PS5 has no games. What the hell are you gonna buy? I spent $800 on a PS5. To what? Play The Last of Us again?
This was a 9-minute reveal video. 9 minutes.
Uh-huh.
They showed nothing new. They
no
had
games,
no new game to be look at the shit that our console can do with this new game.
Mm-hmm.
It was all The Last of Us and Spider-Man and God of War and all the stuff we've seen before, and it's look how much better it is. And I'm where? Well, I can't.
The only thing they had to show off that was at all an interesting technical thing that the PS5 Pro can do is the PSSR shit. And that is only at all interesting because we live in a generation where the graphics technology for modern engines has forced this extremely Vaseline core temporal anti-aliasing on literally everything. So it's a manufactured problem that the PSSR is solving.
And the thing is, so they're if you look closely, you can see the visual difference. I have several issues with this. One is that we are, no matter what, we are firmly in diminishing returns territory.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
We have been in diminishing returns since the PS4.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter anymore. The idea of a console generation nowadays is becoming more and more irrelevant unless you're Nintendo. Right? The Switch 2 is probably going to be the last big graphical hurdle in gaming hardware. We can't get any better. We're done.
Yeah.
So and I've the only one among us who owns a PS5 anymore, right?
Yes, I don't own a PS5 anymore.
And I have never once played a PS5 game and gone, this could run or look better. We played Final Fantasy VII, which is a game that people have a lot of problems with visually, and I'm looks fine. I don't need it to look better. It ran fine. It plays fine. It looks fine. I'm good. There's no reason to get this upgrade.
It's just insane to me to especially be we're charging $800 for this thing, basically. If you own any discs at all, you have to charge... Well, for one, you're charging $700 for discless system, which is fucking insane.
Mm-hmm.
You're functionally charging $800 for this thing at a time when, nobody is buying your $70 video games. Nobody is buying your dumb, overpriced, PvP, live shooter fucking horse shit. And, you don't have anything. I can't overstate this enough. You don't have anything to sell this system with. What is the point of a PS5 Pro if there's not going to be anything on it?
What are even the PS5 exclusives? Demon's Souls?
Demon's Souls,
Spider-Man.
And Spider-Man is only going to be for a little while. Demon's Souls might not ever because it hasn't happened yet, but they put the first Spider-Man game and Miles Morales on PC.
It's so galling, man. I don't know. What do they do? What are we doing? What are we doing here? Right? That's the thing I just keep thinking of constantly with this whole console generation. It's what are we doing?
The PS4 Pro had a reason to exist. The first model PS4s were not great, right?
They were not. I had one until the very end, and that thing sounded like a jet engine toward the end of it.
And that generation lasted long enough that by the end of it, we were seeing the limits reached for the PS4, right? A lot of those later generation games were pushing the PS4 to its breaking point.
Mm-hmm.
We're 6 years into the PS5, and like I said, because we're still putting shit on the PS4, nothing is pushing the PS5 to its limits.
Yeah.
Besides Insomniac games.
Yeah, besides Insomniac games.
And we've those take several years to make and also cost so much fucking money that if they don't sell 10 million units, they're failures.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's, I'm sure Spider-Man 2 is doing well, but it's not going to be good for Insomniac if that Wolverine game comes out and doesn't actually do well.
The fact that they did not show off Wolverine in this announcement.
That's an easy W.
Yeah, here's the PS5. Here's what Insomniac, our wizard company, can do with the PS5 Pro. Here's what Wolverine looks like. Here's eyes on our thing.
Yeah. And they just don't have anything. They have nothing to show. They've got nothing coming up. There's nothing coming out the rest of this year for Sony. They have no big thing. I think it's insane to do an $800 console announcement and not be and here's all the cool games you can play on it. It's all shit that already runs perfectly fine on your base PS5. And it's cool. What is the purpose?
Yeah,
this is the last trick of Jim Ryan. It's just like Joker's trick on the way out. He saddled Sony with a bunch of dog shit live service games that were all doomed to die instantly. And a PS5 Pro that nobody is asking for.
It's
Sony Sony in general, not PlayStation, but Sony in general has to rip PlayStation back to Tokyo. It's the only way.
It's the only way.
The tenure of American European PlayStation has just been mistake after mistake.
And exceptionally galling, would like to point this out. The PlayStation 5 Pro in the United States without the disc drive is $700. In Japan, aka nominally Sony's home turf, $850.
Insanity.
I think it was
before the disc drive.
Yeah, I think it was Jason Schreier who posted here's all the prices of the PlayStation consoles adjusted for inflation.
No, it was Jeff
Pat.
Keighley himself.
Jeff Keighley.
Oh yeah, Keighley did, and then Pat responded to that with the other good one, which is adjusted by what the minimum wage is per year to how many hours it would take for you to afford one at minimum wage.
And here's the fucking stupid thing about that list that Jeff posted. Adjusted for inflation, the PS5 Pro is still the most expensive console on that list.
Absolutely.
It is actually slightly behind the PlayStation 3, but only slightly.
What point were you trying to prove?
What are we
adjusted
doing?
for inflation, it's $8 to $11 cheaper than the PS3 was at launch when we had 600 United States dollars in 2006.
Well, when that was a huge fucking debacle for Sony from the word go.
$599 US was a huge meme.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because you took the company that made the PS2 and then stuck them with a fucking brick that you couldn't fucking move if you tried.
And you couldn't develop for, so it also had no fucking video games on it, right? It's incredible. We're just back in. It's we're back in 20. It's 2013 all over again.
People online are right. This is PS3 Sony.
Yeah,
this is PS3 era, cockiness for Sony.
Yeah, they're in their flop era again. Mm-hmm. It's stunning. I can't.
By the end of the year, we will get an announcement from Nintendo for the Switch 2, and it will cost $400. And the console war will be over because there is no way anyone is beating that.
If we get Switch 2 and it's $400, Sony can just pack it in.
That's it.
It up. It's over. Yeah, absolutely. And I can't even imagine
here
who this. I can't even imagine who this system is for.
Yeah,
right?
It is the as you get further and further in the Venn diagram crossover of people who have a TV that can output to 8K.
Yeah.
Already own or don't own a PS5 already, because why would they, if they own a PS5 already, they probably have discs. So
the data shows that at least like, if not 2/3, then 3/4 of the PlayStation user base use discs.
I forgot that like they have empirical research.
They do.
That shows that the disk drive sells like outperforms by like 3 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the one in that group of digital only PlayStation 5 owners.
And also you have to keep in mind that 8K population is really small because 8K is super under-supported because no one has any use case for it, and as a result, good displays aren't made in 8K.
And then this person who also has $700 to throw at a new console.
That has no games on it.
Who is this person?
A person that Sony would like to exist for their bottom line.
This person is Mark Cerny.
It's literally just Mark Cerny.
Yeah.
That's it.
Mark Cerny is going to individually buy like 20 million of these fucking things.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It's just...
This is...
incredible hubris, right? For like a thing nobody wants. And also at the same time they announced that they're doing like a cheap refurbished PS5 program. So like they're gonna get outsold by their own shit.
They also increased the price of the PS5 controller for literally no reason except that they can.
Except that they can. They increased it by $5 because fuck you, I guess.
Because fuck you.
Go to hell. And I'm really glad I don't own a PS5 anymore.
Yeah, I feel very resolved. I feel so much more confident in my having gotten rid of that fucking thing that I only ever used to watch Crunchyroll because there was no games on it.
That's right.
If I didn't have to be the one who had the PS5 in the group, I probably would have gotten rid of mine too at some point.
You honestly probably could get rid of it now because the chances of the third FF7 game coming out and being multi-platform from the word go are extremely high. Yeah. Considering how like Rebirth underperformed because it was on a system nobody owned.
Right.
The chances of that are extremely high now. So
hey, look at that. Part 3 is on the Switch too.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll find. They're going to find a way to rub Vaseline all over those games and get them on the Switch too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they'll run that. Like that stuff's in UE4.
Oh,
like UE4 could run on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Like they'll just make the graphics look crunchier and it's fine. They'll get it to run.
No, they're gonna make that thing run and it'll sell 80 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
The instant you can buy the FF7 remake trilogy on a Switch, like Sony may as well just like formally like disavow themselves of the PlayStation business because there's no hope.
Yeah.
That will save Square Enix.
It will save Square Enix and kill Sony. And you know what? Maybe that's what justice looks like in 2020, whatever.
Imagine a company making literally all the wrong decisions.
I don't have to imagine it, Ben. I'm living in that world.
Anyway, it continues.
Oh no.
Flappy Bird makes a return this year thanks to dedicated fans and also thievery.
Yeah, dedicated fans is a pretty generous word for the people who brought that thing back.
Yeah. Because it was the rights were literally stolen from Doug
Dong Yen, I think.
Yeah, Dong Yen, that's it.
Yeah.
It's literally just stolen from him.
Yeah, apparently there's been no movement on it, and the copyright was allowed to lapse, and they basically fucking badgered it out of him in a court of law.
Mm-hmm.
He very famously took it down because the addiction was spreading too much, and he did not want to be responsible for that anymore.
Right, he was like an actual guy, like he was a single individual with like a soul.
Yeah,
and he's like, I don't like the effect that this is having on the people I know in my life. I want to stop it.
And
these people are like, well, what if we had it and we used it as a vehicle to sell microtransactions?
What if we did make the Torment Nexus?
What if we made the Torment Nexus and there was a season pass, right? Like, it's very, I'd say funny, but it's mostly just bleak.
Mostly just sad.
Yeah. Well, you know.
He's
not even getting that bag.
No, he's not. I mean, he's on purpose. He doesn't want it, but...
He doesn't want it, but, like, damn, that's a guy with, like, any degree of integrity at all. It's like, I wish you could at least sue these guys to get some kind of money. You know?
Yeah, they should have... There should have been a court mandate that they had to give him that bag, whether he liked it or not.
Right. You don't have to spend it, dude. You can donate it to charity, but you should get that bag.
Sucks.
So,
Fucking
what
sucks.
else? There's so much bad news. How much more is there?
We have 3 articles left.
All right, let's just do it. Come on, pull the Band-Aid off.
Tony Hawk claims he is talking to Activision again.
That's bullshit. I don't believe it until I see it. And besides, why would anybody, again, with the bad news, why would anybody want to make a game when, like, you make it and it's successful and then they send you to the Call of Duty mines, right?
Well, especially considering that he's talking to Activision and not Neversoft, a company which was sent to the mines.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The people who actually made those games do not exist in a structural capacity to make more of those games.
Right.
It can't be the team that made Pro Skater 1+2 because they were absorbed by Activision.
Right. Like, who will make this? Like, yeah, I'm sure Tony Hawk is talking to Activision, but Tony Hawk doesn't know how video games get made or what's going... I'm certain he's like, yeah, that game sold good. I would like to make another one so that I can make more residuals off the use of my name and likeness. Right?
Right.
Because Tony Hawk don't skate anymore. He's too old.
Yeah, he's retired. The only way he can get by is by video game skating. So, like,
And the answer is, if he knew what he was doing, he'd get with those developers who are making that new skate game and figure something out, because that game is actually going to exist at some point.
Right. But no, he's like, I'm going to talk to Activision. It's like, my man, you can talk all day, but nothing's going to happen.
I bet he's talking to Activision because there's probably like a 50-year contract.
Oh, sure.
That he signed back in the 90s to get the first game made.
I believe that, actually, 100%.
He should be talking with Epic about getting a Fortnite skin.
God, that would be so funny to put Tony Hawk in Fortnite. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, just have like one of the season gimmicks be that one of your vehicles is a skateboard, and like you just have a Tony Hawk skin. Like there's a quest line with Tony Hawk, and he will make another couple cool million just selling skins of himself.
I think that's a great idea.
You can get all of his other irrelevant for the last 2 decades skateboarder friends on it. You can get Steve-O in on it, and they can have a Tony Hawk's Underground 2 reunion tour.
See, if they are gonna do any remakes, I would like it to be Underground 1 and 2.
Sure.
That would be
those
really
are like
cool.
real games.
Yeah. I want to see them have to go through the script for Underground and be like, well, we can't put this in the game anymore.
No. You gotta really
I want
trim
people to
that game.
rediscover their burning hatred for Eric Sparrow.
We have to reignite a decades-long hatred. It's the only way.
We can only do that if they get Ben Diskin to reprise his role as Eric Sparrow.
Agreed.
It's the only way.
The children need to know hatred. Like, like true hatred, you know?
Yeah. Is Ben Diskin doing anything else more important than reprising his role as Eric Sparrow?
I mean, probably a lot of anime and stuff.
Let's see. Star Wars The Bad Batch as a bunch of various characters. I don't even know what the show is.
Oh, he's in Dadanon.
He's the voice of fucking Glenn Lodbrok in Rebirth.
Yeah, he is.
I forgot.
The most nothing character of all time. Great.
The spoiler gotcha character who gets killed on screen.
Who's definitely not Cloud's dad.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
He's in Go-Go Loser Ranger and Dadadan, so he's busy right now.
Okay, he's busy.
Oh, hey, he's doing Dadadan. That's cool. Yeah. I'm excited for that anime to come out. That's probably going to be good.
Maybe we should switch to anime news. Maybe we should stop doing video game news and just do anime news. Maybe.
No, I'm sure it's all bad there too.
No, you're probably right.
I'm sure it's better. Anime. Here's the thing, Ben. Companies in the anime industry are making anime.
That's
and
right.
Anime is coming out,
and it's good.
Like, we're not still sitting here like, damn, it's crazy that Trigger hasn't made anything since Kill la Kill.
Yeah,
right.
They're still making shit, and it's good. And someday we'll get Panty and Stocking Season 2, God willing.
That Transformers video was actually pretty cool. I liked that. That was fun.
That Transformers video was good as fuck. You should let them make a real Transformers anime, please.
Yeah.
Please.
All right, 2 more.
All right, let's do it.
Annapurna video game team resigns, leaving partners scrambling.
This is a really weird one. They just resigned?
They resigned.
So Annapurna, this is specifically for Annapurna Interactive, which is like the games publishing division.
Yeah, the publishing division.
Because Annapurna isn't a developer; they just are
Right.
a publisher, and then like they're part of they're like a part of a larger media company. But this is after relatively recent news where one of the original founders of Annapurna Interactive, who for a while was working at Epic, came back to take over as CEO, and like some of the other people who were on the board were like stepping down, not for any specific reason that was obvious, but because like they were just done, I guess, like getting out of it. And as a result of some failed negotiations of some kind, they were like the entirety of the staff of Annapurna Interactive just collectively resigned from the company.
I see.
So it's just the actual like C-suite or whatever, like the board and the CEO or whatever are the only people who are nominally still there.
Right.
It's not entirely clear if there was like a big decisive inciting incident that caused it, or like the reasons behind like why this action would cause everyone else to resign. It's all business
Right.
stuff.
Yeah. Business talk. Okay.
And also probably not allowed to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, there's probably a very
NDAs all over the
NDAs
place.
going on there.
Yeah.
But because just add it to the pile.
It's just a very, very strange situation to just be like, we all resign. Like, very odd. What a weird place to be if you're one of those teams that are like getting something published by them.
Right. Like,
do we
like
still have a publisher?
Yeah, are we getting paid?
Do we still have somebody who's going to put our video game out? It's very strange.
And the thing that they've been saying on the company is like, yeah, all of our existing contracts are standing. We're going to continue publishing whatever. But then you also have developers going, yeah, but I can't reach anyone.
Yeah, like who am I supposed to talk to? Like nobody works there anymore. Who the hell do I talk to? It's Microsoft all over again.
Hey, I have a question. Who do I okay, yes, I'll hold.
Forever.
Just standing there with your phone, like,
just
someone will
waiting.
pick up, right?
Eventually, I'll send an email. Never send an email. Just call. That's my actual
I don't
adult
want
advice
to call
to you.
anyone on the phone.
Well, nobody will ever read your emails. I'm sorry. Your emails just get ignored. I know this because I do email for work. Don't send an email.
I also do email for work, and I also see people's emails and go, I'm not even going to bother opening that.
I pretend not to see whenever I see an email. It's like, that's somebody else's problem. So the bad news is adult advice. You gotta make the phone call. I know. I'm sorry. You gotta make the phone call.
I hate the phone.
Now, in this particular incident, even calling will not get you anyone, but you gotta call.
You gotta call somebody. I don't care if you've gotta like call the CEO of Annapurna.
I was gonna say
in
at this point, if you have to call Annapurna Interactive for something, you might actually just be able to reach the CEO.
He's like the only guy still there. You should just be able to
waste some of his time. Why don't you?
Yeah.
I'm just picturing like him like the only person at a desk in a completely empty office while the phone is ringing, and he's like that gif of like Homer when he's sitting at the desk and he turns around and the office is on fire and he just turns back.
Yeah. Oh god. Well, one more,
and this is one of those like I was scrambling for good news.
Okay.
Netflix reveals first look at Castlevania Nocturne Season 2. Yay!
I wasn't aware that there was a Castlevania Nocturne Season 1.
Yeah, it was Richter.
Yeah,
They did the Richter season.
There, it was fine. So I've heard. I haven't watched it.
It was all right. It was pretty good.
It was all right.
My context here is that I watched the first season of the other Castlevania Netflix show and was so put off by it that I did not watch any more of the Castlevania Netflix show.
Yeah, I like the original Castlevania Netflix show, but I just like when I was done with it, I was like, that's fine. I'm good now. Like I also don't have Netflix anymore.
I liked half of Castlevania Netflix.
Sure.
Like the first season and the fourth season are really good.
Yeah, then
maybe the second and third not so much.
The second one has some good stuff in it. Just that you spend a lot of time in a basement.
Mm-hmm.
But it has some neat ideas in it. and the third one is just miserable. But the fourth one is really good.
Fourth one's really good. And
it's just very uneven show, and I'm just like, okay, well, at least these animators still have a job.
Yeah.
For me, it was only just like, I'm like, all right, Castlevania show, what could this be? And for me, my touchstone for Castlevania is like Symphony of the Night. Right? And just coming into like a full episode, like an episode 1 that is just tons of dick and boob jokes. And I'm just being
it's
like,
very Warren Ellis. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not who I would have chosen to write this. And I watched 4 episodes and I was like,
it's loosely based.
Yeah, extremely so.
Just get Koji Igarashi to write it. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, there you go.
God.
Well, yeah, I thought Nocturne season 1 was pretty good. It was like on par with like 1 and 4.
Sure.
So season 2. I'm excited for season 2.
Yeah.
I'm glad people who like Castlevania are getting any content at all, because we're not.
They're not making a video game.
I guess this technically, this was like a prior news article, I think, but like the last thing we got from them is they finally put the DS Castlevania games out in the collection for like $25 or something like that. That's pretty good.
I remember another piece of news we didn't talk about, and we should.
What's that?
Just a low crowd, because we love Devil May Cry here. Hideaki Itsuno is leaving Capcom.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I can only imagine it's because he said he's like going immediately into making new shit, and I have to imagine that maybe as a man of his like 50-something-year-old, however old he is, maybe doesn't like the idea of it taking 6 to 8 years to get a video game off the ground.
Yeah.
So please look forward to Demon Might Sob.
Yeah, like. I don't know.
Starring Daniel.
No, it will not be a Devil May Cry knockoff. He is going to keep making his weird little Dragon's Dogma-like games. Now that like he can just make whatever he wants with another company's money, he's just gonna keep making his little Dragon's Dogma style games for freaks, right? Like it seems to me like he's always just wanted to make Dragon's Dogma style games.
If we get a Dragon's Dogma style game that does not look nearly as good, but has an infinitely more robust simulationist aspect in it, like, I don't know, that might be like the game of the decade.
That's right. See, that's what I'm talking about.
If we get like freak nasty Breath of the Wild.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Where like all of the ingenuity of Breath of the Wild is oriented to having like Dwarf Fortress-esque combat simulation.
Now you're talking.
That's
see that shit would whip ass. I'd be super thrilled about that.
I would love a game that is like Dragon's Dogma, but also kind of a Might and Magic game. Yeah. Right? Just like extremely simulated. I love that idea. So yeah, I think, and I mean, like, it's sad. I don't know if Capcom is going to make another Devil May Cry anytime soon with Itsuno not there.
They didn't make any with him there.
I think if we ever get another Devil May Cry game, they're probably just going to like we're not going to get like Devil May Cry 6. We're going to get reboot of some kind.
Oh.
Like, I feel like mainline Devil May Cry is probably over.
Not again. Please, no. Please, no more.
Yeah, which is why... don't worry, Sarah. Considering that's their option, I feel like what's more likely to happen is that Devil May Cry 5 is our last Devil May Cry game.
I could see them doing... And I have mixed feelings about it. Actually, I don't have mixed feelings about it. I don't think it necessarily needs to exist, but I'll probably buy it. But I could see them doing a DMC1 remake. Like,
fun.
Very easily. I could see a DMC1 remake, because one, it's not an Itsuno game. That's a Kamiya game. So, and Kamiya has been gone from Capcom so long that it wouldn't feel very disrespectful, right? So like, I feel like that's probably what they'll do next if they want to kind of ride that IP for a little bit longer.
Possibly.
I don't know if it necessarily needs to exist, because I feel like they'll make it goofy, because they're like, that's what Devil May Cry is now, right? And it's like, yeah, Devil May Cry 5 is goofy, but like, also 1, no, it's not. 2, that's just not what DMC1 was. It was a Resident Evil game.
It was very somber. Like, 1 is very somber and like very straightforward. With
like, it's got like Dante making jokes, but like nobody is surfing on their arm, right?
Right. It's like kind of it's kind of like 90s comic grim.
Yeah, like exactly.
And you've got like kind of a like, you know, not like Hellboy, but you know, that sort of thing where it's like it's very dour, but people make jokes.
Yeah, I mean, Hellboy is actually a really good touchstone for that. Like pretty much anything from that era, like Mike Mignola, Oh god, like that whole era of comic books is very influential, I feel like, on Devil May Cry.
I would like them to remake, if they're going to remake Devil May Cry 1, I would like them to restrain themselves to having the exact same pacing that Devil May Cry 1 had.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think they will, because like I don't think they will. They want it to be more like DMC5, right?
Right.
Like,
You know what would make me pop off?
what?
Remake of God Hand.
Oh, that's never happening.
Well, I mean, that's what they
Yeah,
should
that's what they
with
should
the-
do.
With the exact same insanely poorly designed
Yeah.
difficulty curve and weird
Yeah.
gameplay choices. Yeah.
If there's any game that would need to be optimized for Series S, it should be God Hand Remake.
Just
I
imagine
agree.
an RE Engine God Hand where it looks beautiful and controls like the worst piece of shit you've ever played.
Absolutely.
It should still play and animate exactly like the original God Hand.
And the audio quality should still be really bad.
Just get
Absolutely.
everyone to re-record their lines on like fucking like snowball like USB mics.
Yes. Oh, that's such a good idea. I agree. 100% they should do this.
I guess if you want, you could just do that in Unreal Engine 5 right now.
You could.
Yeah, you could.
Like, just make a game that looks phenomenal and then just like controls like complete dog shit.
and is way too hard and sounds like shit. Yeah, you can just make that game now.
And they
I
should
saw-
make that
I-
game.
I
Yeah.
saw the person. I think it's the person. I don't know. Have you heard of Pseudo Regalia?
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
N64 like game.
Yeah. So I think I saw the person who made that was prototyping a similar like N64 furry girl God Hand game, and I'm like, I really hope you can make that because
Oh,
it looked
please.
very good.
You would make so much money. You should absolutely do that.
Well, I'm gonna see if I can find it so I can show you in the thing.
Pseudo Regalia is such a. I need to play Pseudo Regalia. It's such a weird looking game.
It's apparently good as fuck, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it has insanely good like platforming and like movement mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, I watched. It was at GDQ I think last year, and it looked like super impressive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
and
it's
like
crazy.
it's a 3D Metroidvania with Dark Souls combat. Like,
And it-
and a thick bunny girl.
And it looks exactly like a game I would have rented at Blockbuster for
Mhm.
the N64.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have the Twitter video of it. I will put it in the group chat. I'm just
Please
gonna do the raw link so you can go to Twitter for it.
That's fair.
Watching the video for Pseudo Regalia now, and it's like, yeah, this game is along like Chameleon Twist.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Please.
look at that. Like, that looks good. We need people to pick up the torch that was left by God Hand.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh god, yes. We
God
definitely
Hand
need
is-
a God Hand like 100%, right?
God Hand is so important.
It gave everybody a very specific need for a very specific video game, and then nothing else like it ever really came out, right?
Yeah, that's
God-
the
God
insane
Hand is, I
thing.
think, the Kill of video games.
Yeah.
I could
oh,
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're
yeah,
right.
100%. Like you're chasing that high from Kill a Kill forever. Like that very specific type of game or anime, right?
The breadth of quality between elements of God Hand and Kill la Kill are the same.
Yes, absolutely.
It's the fuck it we ball creative mindset with extreme budget constraints used very gracefully.
Yeah, used very intelligently. And nobody else has the confidence to just say, fuck it, we ball. Right? Like,
Yeah.
God Hand
you
has
got
some
to.
of God. I just God Hand has some of the funniest jokes I've ever seen in a video game.
We don't have any games in the year of our Lord 2024 that have little purple alien chihuahuas named 37 in a row.
Correct.
Yeah.
My God, there's
what
so
other
much
Japanese game is gonna fucking reference Clerks?
No other game is brave enough for your intro of the game to be you walk into town and after 10 seconds of kind of posturing, fight immediately starts with no other plot.
That's right.
One of the-
Everybody else has to give, like, some kind of premise or setup. No! Do the fight.
One of-
That's all anybody cares about.
One of the best jokes in God Hand is when you see the flashback to how Gene met Olivia.
Yes.
And how he got the God Hand. And it's
right.
her being harassed by a bunch of generic thugs, right? And Gene walks up to them and he's like, hey, leave her alone. And like, or I'll kick your ass. And then those generic thugs beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And it turns out that Gene was before he got the God Hand was kind of a loser.
That's so. We need more of that. I'm sorry.
And then he got the God Hand, and he was still a loser.
He's still a loser. He's just a loser with the God Hand now. Exactly.
Also, the extremely funny gameplay joke of you start the first like one of the first levels with a kick me sign on your back that you lose whenever you take damage once or use your super.
Mm-hmm.
But if you never get hit and never use your super, you can keep it for the entire game.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
So you have to. So like the comedy of like having like the joke sign on your back as a sign of being good at the video game.
Exactly.
Immaculate. Perfect. 10 out of 10. No notes.
We love it.
We love it.
We love God Hand in this podcast.
This is a God Hand approving podcast here. It's a Devil May Cry loving podcast, folks.
We've spent 10 minutes talking about God Hand, a game that did not come up at all.
Listen, it's been a bad couple weeks for video games, Ben. I need to talk about something I like, which is Devil May Cry and God Hand. Like,
we're dreaming of a beautiful past. We must return to the era of the PlayStation 2, where like Japanese studios would make a game in 9 months with $20 to their name.
We were just talking about it.
The greatest disservice we've ever gotten is that at no point in Marvel vs. Capcom have Dante and Gene ever interacted.
Correct. And we were just talking about it. They made 4 Final Fantasies in 4 years.
They used to do that!
Them fuckers! They used to just do that. They used to be like, here's Final Fantasy, here's Final Fantasy, over and over again. And it was easy. Like, they just did that. We have to go back. We have to go back to the better times. I am becoming one of those shitheads who's like, the past was a better place.
The problem...
because it sure fuck was for video games.
The problem is that games are no longer allowed to be low quality.
Well, no, because there's too much venture capital involved in them. Not to be depressing, but you know.
They can and are bad.
Mm-hmm.
But we cannot get a game with the budget of God Hand anymore. It does not exist.
It doesn't exist, no.
Those games don't only exist in the indie space where you can't actually, like, unless you are, like, an existing company, like, you can't make that kind of game in the indie space because it's not that much money, but it's still more money than, a hobby developer will have, right?
Right, yeah, absolutely.
But, like, when you get to, like, it's the same thing we were talking about, like, with why NetEase completely pulled out of its funding out of Oka and shuttered that studio immediately, is that, like, no one except for, like, completely independent Japanese developers like Falcom, no one wants the slow, steady drip of, like, successful AA games. They only want the big hitters. They want Fortnites and quadruple A, and that's it.
That's it. They want, like, the big... Like, they just, it's like Let's Go Gambling, but with, like, thousands of people's jobs. And you know, like, because the thing is, I mean, you know, you're fucked too. It's the thing where we're always saying, right? That's the actual tagline of the podcast, is you're fucked too. Because, like, all of the freaks in charge are never going to see the bloodletting that happens when, like, the AAA game flops, right? Like, Jim Ryan got his golden parachute, and everybody who made Concord is not going to have a job in 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, bad decisions don't happen. The consequences of bad decisions don't happen to the people who make the bad decisions. They happen to the people who make the video games.
Right.
And it's like, okay, so that quadruple A game that we spent $200 million on, it flopped. It doesn't matter. We'll just do it again, and the next one will be a big hit. So who cares, right? And then meanwhile, you've got 20,000 people losing their jobs, right?
Yeah.
That's why like these low quality God Hand games can't exist anymore, is because you can't gamble with a low quality God Hand game. Right? Because that game is always going to just have like okay returns because it's too niche, right?
Right.
So you have to gamble and spend $200 million on a game that could potentially appeal to everyone, maybe, and then you make a shit ton of money forever. Like, you get your money printer. And if it fails, that's fine. You can just fire the developers and try again because you're rich and it doesn't affect you.
And if it succeeds, it's fine. You can fire the developers because now you don't need them because you have your infinite cash cow.
Yeah, you can just keep a small skeleton team on to keep the infinite money printer on. That's it.
Like, the fact that Phil Spencer says he's, like, an article where he makes the worst game decisions of the year, of his tenure, like, okay, if you're aware of that, that means all of the other execs are aware of that.
And they all still have jobs.
And you keep doing it.
Yeah.
And you can smile and laugh and give a press release about it while you've put 2,000 plus fucking people on the breadline this year alone.
Yeah, like, Phil Spencer can joke and say, like, oh yeah, I've made terrible decisions. Because it doesn't affect him. He will never lose his job over this. And even if he does lose his job over this, they will send him home with a $20 million golden fucking parachute.
If
right?
not more.
If not more. Like, there are no consequences for making bad decisions in video games at the executive level. And because of that, we will never get another God Hand. It literally, it's the fucking domino meme. And the little one is that video games have got to make big returns. And the big one is we're never getting God Hand ever again.
There's a move in God Hand called the Head Slicer where you can chop someone's head off. And I wonder if that applies to any of these very wealthy people who continue to make money at the suffering of others.
If only some French doctor once invented a device which you could describe as the Head Slicer.
Yeah. If only.
If only there was some kind of device in France that was some kind of pest control for rich people.
The little box is IGN gives God Hand like a 2.3 or whatever, and the big domino is all video games cost $700 million to make.
Yeah. Oh my god.
On a positive note, though, I was thinking more about God Hand because God Hand's so good. I'm thinking the funniest cutscene in God Hand is the one where you find a bunch of thugs like taunting a civilian who's drowning. And they're throwing like these like heavy weights on him to make him drown faster, and you have to defeat the goons before he drowns.
Right.
And if you defeat them, he's got like these like heavy like iron rings around his shoulder. If you defeat the goons, he's there trying to stay afloat. When he realizes they're all gone, he just dives down and then breaststrokes towards Gene on the dock. Gene holds out his hand to pull him out of the water. He gives Gene a high five, puts a treasure chest on the dock, and then backstrokes away.
Oh,
you don't get games like this anymore.
We're never gonna get it anymore. And the only place you get this is in the indie scene, and I guess in a Yakuza game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the person that Ichiban would encounter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and like the Yakuza game character would have like several lines of dialogue. The God Hand character has no lines of dialogue, which is beautiful. Like the only equivalent we get of that is the thing I was telling you about the electrician in Fallout 76, where he disappears in a flash of lightning because they made his encounter after they had finished doing voice acting recording, and they were like, "Well, we don't know what to do since we can't give this character a voice, so just make him disappear in a flash of lightning.
Just make him a cryptid. It rules. That's so stupid, and I love it. It's good. It's good, folks.
Anyway, look forward to God Handuary.
If you want to commit for that, I will watch you stream God Hand with rapt attention.
Sure.
It'll take all 30 days.
It's good. It'll be a slog. It'll be a lot of dying, but it'll be great.
It's a beautiful game that not only gets harder at it the better you are, but gets so outrageously difficult immediately.
Yeah, it's so funny. All right, that'll do it. I think we're done here.
All right, we managed to end it on a slightly.
We have to actually squeeze in some Fallout 76 tonight. God willing.
Do, yeah.
God willing, yes.
Thank you to DJ Cutman for your background music, and email us at thegorgepodcast.gmail.com. Follow us on all our social medias and whatnot. Join our Discord, join our Patreon, patreon.com/thegorge. And yeah, that'll do it for us here.
Yeah.
We're streaming FF9.
We're shooting FF9. We'll eventually go back to Ace Attorney Investigations.
Yep.
In the month of October, we are going to be streaming every Sunday night episodes of Bakano
On the Discord, not
on the Discord,
public.
not on Twitch because that'll get us in trouble. But as as a group activity, we will be watching Bakano together. Please come watch Bakano with us.
And some others of us in the Gorge might be doing other things. I think Shia has entertained streaming more stuff in October. Or
our 4th annual Shia stream for October.
We'll probably
tradition.
Publicly, we'll probably do some various spooky games here and there throughout October.
Yeah. So if there's not a lot of episodes in October, it's because we'll be streaming a lot.
Yeah, so that'll be our makeup for not doing a lot of recording at that point.
Right. So please forgive us, but it'll be fun. I promise.
All right, that'll do it. Oh my God, there's so much to pick from.
There's too many.
Fuck Mark. We haven't done him. Fuck Mark Cerny. That was the worst announcement of anything.
I feel like I can't cotton to saying fuck Mark Cerny. That man is only pure.
That Mark Cerny was exploited to give credibility to that 9-minute schlock.
Exactly. Mark Cerny has a pure heart.
Fuck the PS5 Pro.
Yes.
Fuck. Who's the other? Fuck Herman Holst. That guy's stupid. He should be killed.
That's correct.
Not literally.
This is not an actionable threat, but
this is not an actionable threat. I hope that he stops being the president of Sony Europe or whatever for any reason that might happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. Fuck that guy. Fuck the PS5 Pro. Fuck Phil Spencer. Fuck them all.
Mm-hmm.
Don't own a console. Buy a simple PC. And just do that. Save yourself all this misery, honestly. Just save yourself before it gets too bad, mostly, is what I'm saying. Don't play video games. Go watch Star Trek. That's the actual more of the story. Don't play video games. Watch Star Trek. This is a Star Trek podcast now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Star Trek and anime, that's all you got.
Star Trek and anime, that's all we got, folks.
Join us in November for Legend of the Galactic Heroes Ember. Where we will have to stream... I think 3 or 4 episodes a night for the entire month in order to watch all of Legend of the Galactic Heroes. I think everyone's game for that. You all have the entire month of November.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, we can do it. Sure, for sure.
What did you do on Thanksgiving, Ben? I watched Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
It sounded like you had a bad time. I did. It was great.
I had a great time, but no, I didn't. All right.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.